future. Right. So Phil's wanted to take a look at XRP. Dude Man wants to take a look at Solana. Here's a good one. BitBoy was pumping Solana yesterday. Maybe you can get views from his audience. Great. Good one, Dude Man. We'll start with Solana because I have actually been asked to do that several times. Maybe even really was yourself. Then I'll move on to take a look at what Phil was saying. We also have AG chatting about that. So we got a little bit of activity in there around about XRP and Solana. Excellent. Nice to see that you guys have got a favorite coin. And all that good stuff. Because, of course, no, sir, I don't feel very much like talking. No, neither walking. You want to know if I can dance. Right, anyway, so let's bring up the old chart there. We started off and we said we're going to take a look at Solana. So thanks for joining me out there, ladies and gents. We're taking a look at Solana here, starting off in the 24-hour time frame, working our way through what's going on, trying to figure out the current situation with this wonderfully bullish looking asset, where our best risk management targets or indeed entries, exits, all that stuff is, profit taking target, maybe even suggest a couple of potential moves here before we wrap up the episode, all of which in a couple of minutes. Be sure to stay tuned to the end for that good stuff. Thanks so much, by the way, for joining me. My name, of course, is Rocky Outcrop. This is Crypto Technical Analysis. Please do hit that like button. We have a nice upward trend here. As you can see, this is, of course, gone absolutely balls to the walls upside. So instead, what we're going to do is take off of linear and pop it onto Logonier, or whatever they call it. Just kidding. Logarithmic chart, and it gives it less of a sort of, you know, crazy upward ride. Now, of course, we still do have the rise of the Cobra over here, and it is wonderful looking stuff. Of course, everybody out there is hugely impressed with Solana in terms of its like what the coin does, etc. It's a smart contracts type thing, right? Am I right in thinking that? It's an interesting one. I think they've got a kind of, you know, quite a good approach to how they're doing things. Now, if we look at this from a Fibonacci point of view, if we see the prices dropping down past, you know, below $37.87, but we really need to see it pushing down a bit, you know. But if we see it pushing down past, let's call it 37.5, right, then we're not so happy about that. There's probably going to be a 20% cascade down to $30 at the least at that point if that happens. And then, of course, you're looking, now this is, by the way, don't get worried. I'm about to do all the positive stuff. I'm just, hey, you know, we need to know when we need to sort of snap into let's risk manage this biznatch. But in the meantime, you know, so we'll go back to sort of happy dappy land in a second. But yeah, so if we do go down past those regions, bearing in mind, of course, $6 away just to get to that first cutoff point there, then you're looking down here, and you could have a target in at around about 19 buckaroonies on this one, and that wouldn't be completely unreasonable. After all, it was only just like last week that the prices were down there. But looking at this from a moving average point of view in the 24-hour time frame, super strong. What have we got here? We have, of course, not got the bullish divergence or the bearish divergence on the MACD, but we do see on the RSI just with our last high right here, but that's okay because we're moving up the way. In fact, overall, what actually, you know, looking at this thing here, does it not strike you? Because it strikes me that we could potentially be kind of putting in something. What's this? Is this a downward sloping? Yeah, this is downward sloping just here, but we could be able to challenge this if we come up for our next move up the way in terms of the RSI, ladies and gents. With this, you know, there's not fair on the RSI really even either. Let's just kind of pop this up. You can see if we do get this upward movement, it's really been turning around. The momentum with this thing has been turning around a wee bit recently. So while that does slope down a little bit, if we push past here, what these lower highs enable us to do is to go in there and put in yet higher highs without any bearish divergence then thereafter. The MACD showing us that, of course, we do have a good degree of momentum towards the top side. So 24-hour time frame is kind of giving us a little bit of a confused story. I would say that I would kind of think that there probably could be that $6. I mean, that might be a good best buy entry. I think we'll probably carry that through to the end of the show in terms of our position entry type thing. But we're looking at this and saying the ADX extremely strong, right up there towards 50. 50 is a fairly typical turnaround zone for things when it hits that. I mean, mean, quick example, jump over to Bitcoin and look back, and you can see that the prices did indeed drop down whenever the prices got up towards these 50 points in terms of the DMI. It's very, very typical, you know, in terms of this indicator to see that kind of thing happen. So we did see a bit of a turnaround in Bitcoin prices when, you know, having come in here, but this was when it hit it at that point, and then we diverged up the way over a long period of time. So, you know, it's just an indicator. It's not, you know, hard and fast rules, but there could be a bit of a pullback. And then I would say that if we got in there at that price, wouldn't that be excellent? I'd be looking up for higher targets. So let's establish what they are first off then, and just kind of say that we're going to try and take advantage of any last kind of gasps that there are in this thing before we get a proper correction, because we don't have a real proper correction on here, despite the fact that, of course, occasionally we're looking at candles with massive volatility built into them. A proper correction in my mind at the minute would be seeing us going down something like 40 or 50%. So you'd have to watch out for that, and that's what we're talking about with those targets. But where are our subsequent, you know, higher targets up? What are we looking to? And just in terms of this little bit of a movement just here, where the next region is actually I have to zoom in quite a bit here, is actually in there at $54. I'll be looking towards that 1618. Now, of course, anybody taking profit from 50 up to 55 in that kind of that 10% chunk is in the profit taking 10%. So if there's going to be a profit taking 10%, where is it? It's in around about here. Now, where would the best move be coming in at? And I would say that the best move, if we get the chance to get it, now me not being in a position gives me this luxury to look at it from this point of view and engage patience. Right, brilliant. So in terms of that best entry and best target then for us, what are we looking at with regards to this one? It would be coming back down towards that 36 price point. 36, yeah, $6 down from where we are right now. I know that would be kind of tough to have to stomach, but if we did see anywhere in this region in terms of moving down the way here and having it come in and test in this region, what we'd be doing is looking for support off of one of these moving averages. Now, we so often do come in to test these moving averages. As you can see here, it's frequent enough. We'd be saying if we push down past the 36 area that we don't want to actually be in it. This is the 18. 18 is yellow, 36 is green, 50 is the red dotted line. If we push down past that, then I don't want to be holding on to that position any longer. And then, of course, your profit taking comes in at that green box, just kind of moving this off the chart and then looking at what we're looking at in terms of a risk to reward is an easy 2-to-1, and that's a very, very broad risk reward. Now, that, of course, accommodates a good deal of this volatility. For reminders for people, if you're trading this on leverage, just be aware that the movements down the way in terms of this this risk area here, of course, would wipe you out on any leverage above 4x or so, probably in terms of this mass. It's a 20% area, so that would be ridiculous. In terms of like just then wanting to tighten that up the way is probably the wise thing to think instead, and then suddenly you're looking at huge moves. But just be aware of the levels, in which case, if we see the prices dropping down here, etc., then you can stop out and maybe get in at this point, and you're looking at huge 16-to-1. So that's where you take advantage of the volatility. So be aware. So if you want to say then what our best moves are, it'd be that roughly, getting in at around about the $36 area and saying I don't want to hold it past 35, and that would give us a 10-to-1. So if you're looking at that, likewise down towards this area, don't want to hold it past so we're getting at 31, don't want to hold it past 29 would be kind of your mentality there. And again, 10-to-1 moves here easily enough just to come back up and test previous targets. Those are what we're looking at. On Solana, it is of course above the 236, therefore bullish, and we're not looking down at that retracement 618, but I've mentioned what that was earlier on, so manage your risk accordingly. Great. What do we have in here? We've got Darren Thompson. Good to see you, Darren. Nice to see you, buddy. Guy at work is convinced XRP is going to rip. Didn't the SEC give them a pass today? Did they get passed today? Anyway, we're going to talk about that next. So that's quality that there's chitter chatter in here with that. What was the news with XRP? Maybe we need to check it. Is this my zero line? Let me just kind of, what is it? My zero line? Yeah, indeed. Right, cool. Excellent. Oh, fantastic. It's looking okay dokie. Same concept with essentially, where you can identify a range, and the fact is that we're here and we can see profit taking having occurred. Is it going to be any surprise? Right, we've gone through a few different coins today at the meantime in the minute, right? What do you think this region is here? What do you think this region is here? Just kind of looking at that in general. Now, we've all been doing it together. We like to learn together on the show, do we not? At least that's certainly what I tried to do. What did you think? And did anybody answer 618 golden pocket zone right in there? As you can see, it very clearly is. Did any of you answer that? that as I was asking that question, or at least think it to yourself, having done this a few times today. So that's what we're seeing across the markets in so many different assets right now, that they're at a zone where that is happening. Of course, okay, this is just expected in here. So are we looking then to say that there's a problem with this? And then you look to say, well, no, so long as you stay above key areas, such as, and then at this, or for this one, we're talking like the 145, 146 zones, good area to manage your risk at. And it's then easy for me to pop in a horizontal line on here just to give us that idea. So we already know where current profit taking is happening right here, right now. We also know this is a risk management line. Therefore, if you wanted to be very aggressive with your trading and you're looking for a trade, is there a setup here, Rocky, with this? Is there one for us with this? And you could very much say, well, there is, because you could just simply manage your risk along those sorts of lines. Look up towards the top side, solid 3.5 to 1, so 3 to 1, 3 1/3 to 1 move here for us. If you're